Are we live? Hi, everybody. Welcome to Cosmic Comfort. This is week 5 of our 7-week series. I'm so happy to see you. So happy to see you. So I did a little meditation this morning. Did you guys see it? Melanie, actually, I just saw Melanie Bass's comment in the feed. Thank you, sweet Melanie, for that. It's so good to see you. So I did a little brief, I was just at my own meditation this morning, but I was talking to you about compassion because I was really thinking this morning, what does the world need now, right? I mean, it's kind of trite, but we're missing some compassion. And so I got so much positive feedback after last week's Cosmic Comfort focusing on elemental energies that I thought I would continue it tonight. Oh, thank you for that, Sylvia. I really appreciate that. It's been a challenging week all around. Last Friday, our community lost someone very special. Kelly Clark passed and crossed the Rainbow Bridge. And a lot of us were gathered together to honor her and to send her across that beautiful bridge with love and with grace. And so a lot of us are still working through that energy. It's been a challenging week. It's been a challenging week for our country. It's been a challenging week energetically. And it's interesting because I'm already feeling, I don't know if you are, the effects of the August solar eclipse that is coming on August 21st. So August 21st is a new moon and a total solar eclipse. It's a new moon in Leo with a total solar eclipse. So I'm probably feeling it because it's in my sign. How are you guys? You're very welcome, actually, by the way. I've been loving getting together with you for these moments, these meditations. It's very critical for us to gather and to set some sacred intentions and to raise some energy for our planet, because what's happening is we're all registering the energies, but a lot of us don't quite know why. And so I want to talk a little bit about that eclipse tonight just because it's on my mind. And I want to talk about the fire element tonight. So we're going to work our way around the medicine wheel. We started in the direction of east last week with the element of air and talking about air sort of blowing through, creating clarity, right? Opening up pockets for possibility. In the south, we work with the element of fire. I'm so glad. Oh, Jill, that's beautiful feedback. I'm so grateful for that. Jill says, these meditations are healing my soul. I love that. And that's why I'm doing this. This is why I'm gifting these 7 hours of time, because I really do feel like it's a need. It's a collective need. Isn't that interesting? Cynthia says that Eclipse Day is the first day of school in Austin. Woo! For a first day of school, right? So August 21st is coming. It's an important day. We're about to turn almost the astrological wheel toward the sun sign Virgo at that time too. So, and of course Virgo, when we leave Leo, it's always a little sad because Leo season is full of playful energies and creative energies and renewal energies. And then when we switch to Virgo, it's always been interesting to me. Have you ever thought about how much you were internalizing magic and the wheel of the year and the holidays before you probably even realized it? For me, when the sun goes from Leo to Virgo right around the 21st of August is when kids go back to school. And Virgo is the sign of focus, schedules, time, timeliness, right? Virgo governs all of that. Leo, we could care less. I mean, Leo sort of shows up and goes, God, I hope I'm not too late, because Leo, we tend to think the party starts when we get there. But Virgos are like, nope, the party started at 5 p.m. You're late. Here are the details. You needed to bring this. Virgo's about the details. And so when kids go back to school, that's always the transition, right? From Leo to Virgo. I think it's very, very interesting. And then around Halloween, we switch to Scorpio, right? Which is the sign of mystery and death and rebirth and sex and power and craving and all of those things those intense energies of Halloween are all bound up with sun sign Scorpio. So it's very interesting how all of these different holidays and times of year are actually so influenced by and tethered to the astrological signs that they correspond with. I'm fascinated. I think that's what keeps me sort of engaged in all of this work every year, is that even though it's kind of like Groundhog Day, where it's like, oh, it's Samhain again, oh, it's Mabon again, oh, it's whatever, it never gets tiring or tired for me, because there's always some new information to discover, to explore, to excavate in those moments. And so each year you sort of Tara says she's got a headache thinking about it. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but I just want to point out to you, like, you are, whether you think you are influenced by all of these energies or not, you are. You are influenced. And so let's talk about the eclipse for just a second. It's so good to see you guys too. I'm really happy to be here with you right now. So let's talk about eclipses. Eclipses do one thing and one thing only, and that is they reveal what is hidden from view. And they do that because the universe wants you to know what's happening. It really does. The universe wants you to be aware. Some people are more intuitive than others. So what I think of eclipses as catching everybody up to the same level of insight, information, and intuition. So if you're incredibly intuitive and empathic, you already know, right? Like what's happening in the field. If you're not highly intuitive, if you haven't been cultivating those skills and those gifts, the eclipse comes through to show you what you haven't been seeing, to the point where you'll stop and say, whoa, like how did I find that out? How did I learn that? How did I see that? It's the eclipse. And so in any case, I want you to be aware of that. The number one piece of advice I can give you around eclipses is if you are withholding information, if you are hiding things from people, if you are, not to say you are, but if you're back chattering or if you are going behind people's backs to do things right now, I want to advise you to discontinue that behavior. If you have to do those you shouldn't do that anyway, but if you have to do that kind of stuff, maybe wait till September, because all secrets are about to be revealed. That's what eclipses do. So if you've been keeping things from important people in your life, keeping things from people you're in relationship to, keeping things from people in the workplace, all of that gets revealed around the eclipse period. So just be honest. Just be honest. Communicate, open up the lines of communication, because in my experience, having gone through this, it's much more peaceful for you to reveal your own secrets to people than for the universe to come in and go, ta-da, on your behalf. That can cause all kinds of chaos. And so I just want to show you that over the next 30 days, that's the potential. And so don't. That's always my public service announcement. If you're a secret keeper, what's that saying? 3 things will always be revealed: the moon, the truth, and the purpose of your soul, right? 3 things that are sometimes hidden will always be revealed: the moon, the truth, and the purpose of your soul. This month, the truth is going to be revealed. It's interesting, isn't it? So whenever I see eclipses on the calendar, and it's funny because I've already started seeing some things that have been hidden from me that I needed to see. It was very interesting over the last week or so. All these little tidbits of information. And I just trust the universe. It's only going to show you what you need to know. It's not going to show you everything, but it's going to show you what you need to know that impacts you, that is right now occluded from view. It's interesting, occlusion and occult, those 2 words, have you heard those words? Occluded or occlusion or occult. Do you know that all of those words come from the same Latin root word, which means hidden? The occult just means something that is hidden from you. Something that is occluded is hidden from you. It's just hidden. It's like right on the other side of your hand. And what the universe does is the eclipse is it pulls that hand back and lets you look and see. And it can be very shocking. It can be disruptive to relationships. So just be mindful of that. Yeah? Aho. Yeah, so our sound is absolutely golden here. I have a brand new, beautiful microphone. So if your sound is challenging to you, check your speakers. Make sure that don't have multiple things playing at once, but our sound is absolutely beautiful on our side. We invested in a huge, gorgeous microphone, so it's very, very clear where I am coming to you from. Hopefully you're enjoying that too. So good to see you guys. Yeah, so Norma, eclipses tend to reveal secrets that other people are keeping from you. But that doesn't mean that it won't reveal something that is hidden within you that you haven't seen too. And one of the things I want to invite you to do, and it's very, very hard, but I have a Wednesday standing call with one of my teachers. I still take classes. I have teachers. I do work. And it's really funny. So people always ask me, why take classes? Because I teach a lot of online classes. And what I say is, I'm still a student. You should always be taking classes. There should always be somebody who is grounding you, nourishing you, providing you with tools, with wisdom to help you understand the high holidays, to help you understand the moon phases, to help you integrate all of this. You need a teacher. And so I have my own teachers. And so on Wednesdays, we have those calls. And this morning, the whole conversation was about how to continue to do the hard work of looking in your life. I'm constantly looking. What do I not know? What do I not know? What do I not know? And I'm constantly asking my guides, please show me, please reveal. I'm constantly pushing into those spaces, which is probably why I have good visibility in my life. I have good visibility into the people in my life. I have good visibility into relationships in my life. I have good visibility into my own personal soul development. And what that means is, and I'm sharing all of this with you because I want you to do this work. What that means is I am my harshest critic. I know exactly where my learning edge is. I know exactly the work I haven't done yet. I know exactly the work I'm doing right now, and I'm constantly pushing myself. I'm very hard on myself. And I encourage you to be just as hard on yourself too, because that work never ends. If you're alive, it's because you have work to do. That is the biggest truth I can offer you today. So anyway, the eclipse is coming, and some of us are feeling it already. And the reason I do my little public service announcement about truth is I'd rather you not be blindsided. Ooh, I want to let it burn for a minute, because this is what we're doing tonight. We're working with the element of fire. This is my home element, the element of fire. This is my natal element. I do not fear fire. I seek it. And so we're going to work with fire tonight. Fire is direction of south. This is the season of summer. So we are actually right now firmly in the direction of south in terms of where we are in the calendar year. So I'm calling upon some of that fire energy for you tonight. As I burn the sage, I just want you to release into the smoke anything that isn't serving you. Calling in all of our guides, ancestors, guardian spirits, and angels, everyone who walks with us, everyone who protects us, we call you in tonight. We ask for your wisdom and your guidance as we approach you this evening and we head into the sacred direction of south. Cynthia says winter is coming, which is sort of, that's what we say when, we who are Game of Thrones fans. But the truth is winter is coming. But right now we are in the high growth season of summer. And so we're working with the element of fire. And I want to talk about fire tonight because fire, there are three, let's say, elements that you can really surrender energy to. Things that aren't serving you, things that you don't want to experience anymore. You can surrender to earth. You can bury things into the earth, right? And one of the things you can do if you want to do a burial ritual is you can take a stone or a leaf, something organic, and imagine sending into it anything that you wish to release. Grief, loss, sadness, anxiety. You can send all those energies into that stone in ceremony and then bury it in the earth. But another thing that you can do is imagine releasing energies to the fire, and that's what we're going to do tonight in a meditation together in just a minute. That's so awesome. No, Pam, it's not crazy. Pam says she can smell the smudge. I think that is legit. I think if you're really in the field, you can smell, you can feel. I don't think there's really that much that separates us across space and time, to be honest. So I love that you feel like you can smell that smudge, and I don't deny it. Well, I love it. And I'll tell you a quick story about fire. Are you ready? Quick story. I don't know that I have actually told you this story before. So my dad came to this country from Greece when he was a teenager, immigrated from Crete, which is where my family is from, Heraklion, Crete, which is actually the home base of the Minoan civilization. So I am Minoan on my father's side. And he came to this country from Crete when he was 16. And he went to high school and tried to learn English and become a busboy of a restaurant. And I met my mom, who's a waitress there, so it's kind of a cool story. And then as he got older, he and my uncle immigrated at the same time. And once they learned English and they sort of, they were working hard, very diligent, hardworking kids really at the time. When they mastered English, the owner of the restaurant came to them and said, I would really like for you two, my dad and my uncle, to take over this restaurant when I retire. And so why don't we do why don't you buy the restaurant slowly over time, a little bit out of your paycheck, at a time. And so my dad and my uncle did that. They went from being busboys at this restaurant where my mom was a waitress, which is, by the way, right over here in Hawthorne, which is very close to Sage Goddess, all those years ago, right? I mean, I'm almost 44, so we're talking about 50 years ago. And they ended up buying the restaurant from the man who owned it. When I was 17, the restaurant burned down and to the ground. And it devastated my family, to be honest, because we were an immigrant family. That was what we had, was our restaurant. And I had worked there as a hostess when I was a little girl. My mom had worked in that restaurant as a waitress, like I said. My dad had been a busboy. This was everything. To immigrant families who don't have much, when they come here and they build something, it's what they have, right? It burned down to the ground in the middle of the night. I remember the fire department coming. I don't want to cry, but I remember the fire department coming and knocking on our door and saying, your restaurant is in flames. And by that, it took half an hour to get there, and it was pretty much gone by the time we got there. It's actually a fantastic story with a great ending. So we watched the rest of the restaurant burn down. By the time we got there, it was almost gone. The buildings on the sides of our restaurant were not touched. They were not touched. It was just our restaurant that to the ground, okay? And I grew up in San Bernardino County as a double fire sign, and every summer we had wildfires. And we used to have to leave our house because the wildfires would get too close to our house. It was kind of like an evacuation. And we would go and sit and watch the fires from our car, and I could smell it, and it would be on my clothes. And I wrote a story about this, actually, how fire has touched my life in every stage, from being a small child, 3, 4, 5 years old, and watching the wildfires burning in San Bernardino, to watching my family's business burn down at 17, and watching my parents go into major depression. Because again, immigrants, they didn't have education, right? They didn't have a backup plan. They didn't have anything. And so we, who were almost adults, had to pretty much figure it out. I mean, I was going to go to college and stuff. That was gone. I started community college. I got a job to help my parents. I worked 2 jobs while I went to community college. I can't even tell you how grateful I am for what I just told you. If that fire hadn't happened, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you today. And so it's really interesting how you can go back on your life and really see the gift that an element has brought you. Does that make sense to you? I love fire. I am fire. I am born out of fire. Fire excites me. Fire doesn't scare me, even though I've seen it destroy. I've seen it destroy the land where we used to live. I've seen it destroy the business that my parents built out of desperation, right? Because before my parents had a restaurant, my dad's family was in Crete, and during the war, everything they had was destroyed by fire bombs, right, during the war. So I'm sharing all of this with you because you can reorient yourself to the elements, and you can decide. And what you have to do, I think, really is you have to respect the elements. Fire can destroy, but it can also burn clean. Fire doesn't leave residue. When our restaurant burned down, there was nothing left. And I mean nothing left. Fire doesn't leave anything for you except ashes, which basically in your hands turn to dust, okay? And so for me, what I have learned from all of that is, first of all, you have to admire the elements. They're very powerful. Water can destroy everything in its path. Fire can destroy everything in its path. Water can destroy, or air can destroy, in hurricanes, right? Everything in its path. The earth itself, through earthquakes and tectonic shifts and movement, can destroy everything in its path. But each one of those elements can create. Each one of those elements can create. Like the phoenix, Audrey, thank you for that. And so what I've chosen to do in my life, magically, because I've seen the other side. I've seen what the elements can do and how they can literally tear something down. And I've also seen how the elements can literally create life and breathe life into the essence of something that seems dead. Do you know what I mean? And so that, my whole practice, my whole life is this ebb and flow. Beautiful, right? Maria's saying she's seen her share of hurricanes, right? Teresa, her house burned in the middle of the night when she was 14. Are all of us, right? I'm not the only one. I'm sitting here with you, and you've had this experience too. You've seen the hurricanes come through. You've seen the fires burn. You've seen the floods. You've seen it all. And so what I want to do tonight is really work with, we're going to run a few minutes late, by the way. Usually we end at 5:30, but chatty Kathy with you tonight, but I really wanted to set this up with you because I appreciate that, Louise. He says he's more grateful for the fire. Look at that. J.A. Keelis is saying our house flooded last August, 5 feet, right? Think about New Orleans, right? When I go down, New Orleans is, to me, a place where my soul feels like it's at home. And when I go and I can still feel the energy of the flooding, right? Like when I go there as an empath, that like my whole solar plexus fills up, right? And I can feel the fear and the tragedy and the flooding and the, I can feel all of that. But the and you're in Baton Rouge, right? Like, but that water is also healing you. It is purging, it's flowing, it's creating. Water is life. You wouldn't be able to live without water in your body, right? So it's like, I love that. Cassie lives in New Orleans. That's home to me. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's home to my soul. Sharon actually experienced Katrina. So my question to you tonight is, I want you to build a deeper, more intimate relationship with the elements. It's partly what I'm trying to inspire you to do. My question to you tonight is, how can you begin to work with the elements in full recognition, both of their creative and their destructive capacities? And this to me is like the end game, right? It's sort of like, I love it. You guys have a Louisiana tribe in the feed, and I just kind of want to kiss you right now. I'm hoping to get back to New Orleans by the end of the year, and if I do, we'll do another meetup. We did a meetup last year in October in New Orleans. It was very sweet. But I do want you to learn to be in relationship with the elements, and not in a trite way. Do you know what I mean? Not like, oh, north, south, east, west, or earth, air, fire, water. That's too easy. It's much more complicated than that. So tonight what I want to do is I want to show you what fire sounds like. I want to show you what fire sounds like. And as I play for you, I want you to begin to reorient yourself to these elements because they are allies to you. And since this is cosmic comfort, and our intention, of course, is to create pockets of comfort for everybody in the world right now as we go through these difficult times of not knowing, and these difficult times of not understanding fully. You know, not all the information is visible to us right now. The eclipse will help with that. The eclipse will slowly but surely make everything visible and knowledge, aware to you and accessible to you. So as we get closer and closer and closer to the eclipse, you won't feel as confused as you may right now. But I want you to develop this relationship with the elements, and I want you to feel like they're accessible to you. Hi, David. David says I'm hot. Cheers, David. I really appreciate that. It must be all that fire energy I'm raising this evening, so thank you for that. I know, Ginger, right? When Ginger said, look how the sound quieted the feed. Isn't that really, really cool? It's so true. I mean, sound, and you have to remember, in the old days, sound is how we cleared energy. Sound is how we healed people. Sound is how we attuned our senses. Sound is how we did everything in the old days. And so I'm constantly trying to reconnect people with the element of fire, but also with this way of acknowledging and working with the energies, listening as opposed to seeing, right? Listening, using your other senses, touching fire, feeling the heat of it as opposed to seeing. And one of the things is, it's really funny. So the sacral chakra, I believe, is note D. The chakras go from root to crown, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Yeah, that's right. So we start with C at the root. Sacral chakra is note D. Does that help? I love teaching the notes and the chakras because I think it's really important that you know. So this bowl is made of quartz. I'm going to play it for you for a few minutes tonight once we go into our meditation. And it is a sacral chakra bowl, which is one of the chakras associated with the element of fire. The element of fire, anywhere you work with the element of fire, you're also working with energies of creation and sex, because they're all bound up together. And we talk a lot about sex in Sage Goddess, not to be lewd, but to tell you that if you aren't having sex, if you aren't having orgasms in your life, then you are disconnected from your energies of creation too, because it's all related. The sacral chakra is where babies are born and made, but it's also where ideas are incubated. And so if you feel like you're blocked creatively, you're probably also blocked sexually. If you feel like you're blocked sexually, you probably also feel like you're blocked creatively. Does that make sense? So you have to kind of have both. Felicia's a musician, so Felicia probably totally understands that. Does that make sense to you, Felicia? Like when you, as a musician, when you're like not able to create your music, do you also feel like there's like a sexual block there too? I'm just curious, because for me, Kelsey's having orgasms but not sex. If you're single, it doesn't matter. I'm not talking about sex with a person. I'm talking about you being able to connect to your own sex center, which means you can be on your own and you're perfectly fine. Dora says there's someone to my left. I'm not sure exactly who that is, but I have lots of spirit guides. You're probably seeing one of them. Yeah, so the chakra notes are in order of the musical scale, Cynthia, but I'm not sure why it starts at C at the root, to be honest with you. It just does. So it goes C, D, E, F, G. A is Ajna, your third eye, and B is your crown chakra. It's okay. You know what I mean? If you're single, roll with it. If you're single and you are activating that solar plexus and you're opening up that energy center and you are connecting with your own pleasure, trust me, you're going to attract a partner. It's people who think they have to wait for a partner that end up being single for the rest of their lives, ironically, right? So it's like you have to, if you're single, you're going to have to just work your own energy centers, right? Before you attract a partner. That's right. Okay, so let's talk about, by the way, I'm burning 2 candles tonight. This is my elemental integration candle. I don't know if you've seen this one, but this is a really important one. There's a few of these on the website if you want one. Whenever you're doing elemental work, this is the candle for you. It actually has, the wax is all 4 of the elements. Air, fire, water, earth. So you have all 4 elements, and there's actually perfumes, not just the label, but there's perfumes in here. Each one of our elemental perfumes is in here, and there's chipstones to represent the 4 directions in there too. So I'm burning elemental integration and then my prayer candle tonight, which is the one I have burned every night that we have been doing cosmic comfort. So those 2 are lit. I love that. Yeah, Audrey says she found her soulmate after embracing being single 7 years ago. I believe it. I believe it, I believe it, I believe it. Yeah, so that can be, if you're looking for one candle that's going to hold you through all of your ritual needs, literally. I mean, it could be full moon, new moon, any kind of ritual, high holiday, low holiday. The elemental integration candle is kind of the business, I have to tell you. Okay, so our candle is lit, so I want you to close your eyes, roll your shoulders back, make sure your posture is good. Just noticing your hips. Sometimes during the day, do you ever feel like you're just not grounded? You know, it's sort of like, and one of the things you have to do is just notice your hips. You know, if you're seated, really, 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 like notice your hips, wiggle your hips a little bit. That'll get you into your body. Your root chakra gets activated when you roll your hips on the carpet. So just kind of, that's why I belly dance, by the way, because it gets you into your body. And so just rolling your shoulders back, noticing your connection to the earth, calling in all of our spirit guides, ancestors, angels, and archangels to protect us and surround us this evening as we gather and circle together for cosmic comfort, calling in healing for our planet, calling in clarity and peace for everyone and everything. And so tonight we work with the element of fire. Now fire is the element of destruction and creation, the ultimate element of fire, of destruction and creation. So I want you to imagine in your mind's eye. That's Prashita, you're right. You know, I have those chairs for anybody here at Sage Goddess who wants to have them. We've ordered them, and like the bouncy ball chairs is pretty cool. It's much better for you to sit on actually posture wise than a regular hard chair. I can't get used to it, which is why I'm still sitting in kind of a traditional chair, but a lot of my staff likes it. Yeah, Catherine says all that stuff is out of stock on the website, so I will do my best to go back and figure that out for you. I apologize for showing you something that's not there. Yeah, well, Cynthia, I hear you, right? And so, especially in situations where you might be sort of confined or stuck in your seating position, it's really important to still find a way to create movement in your life. And part of the element of fire is creating movement. Like during the day, my team makes fun of me, but I'm constantly sort of like just moving my arms and dancing and sort of shimmying and calling that in, because that is fire, right? Like creating and flowing. And so and we don't do this often enough. We used to think of sacred movement and how do we move, and moving our arms and it's really important to stretch your body and move your body during the day. It'll help you feel more connected to your body too. So good. So even if you're disabled, if you're wheelchair bound, move your arms, stretch your arms. If you can't move your arms, move your shoulders. If you can't move your shoulders, move your head. You have to create movement in your life, because your body energy gets stuck. If you sit like this all day long and you don't move, there's no flow of energy. So you guys have to find a way just to move an arm, move your hand, and just move your hands. Have you ever noticed, like, if you ever just tried to move your hands and really rotate? In belly dancing, we talk about scooping peanut butter out of a jar. Like, that's the movement of your hands. Imagine scooping peanut butter out of a jar. It may not sound sexy to you, but that is how you create like full movement with your hands. And then you can take your hands to the directions and start to stretch them out. And that's fire too, right? That's fire too. So I just want to inspire you to use your body, use your tools, use your candle, which is element of fire. I'm drinking red kombucha tonight. This is fire. So good. Okay, so roll your shoulders back. Call your energy into present time. And I want you to imagine that you are in the middle of a beautiful clearing. It could be in the forest, it could be in the desert, it could be anywhere. So wherever you are, you're in a beautiful clearing. And I want you to imagine that ahead of you in the clearing is a beautiful fire. That you can imagine just beautiful stacks of logs and branches, beautiful sort of just different pieces of combustible material that have been gathered and put together in a sacred way. And I want you to imagine that you take a match and you light that wood, those branches, and they burst into flames in front of you. The biggest fire, large flames that go 10 feet tall and 10 feet wide, stretching out in front of you. And I want you to imagine that the fire is so close to you that you can feel it. You can feel the warmth. You can feel it on your face. You can feel it on your hands. And once you've got a visual on it where you can really see that fire in your mind's eye, I want you to imagine putting into that fire anything that you need to release tonight. So if that is self-doubt, if that is anger, if that is frustration, if that is, I don't know what it is for you. I would love to know. You can tell me in the feed. Loneliness, fear, anxiety, sadness, depression, pain, resentment, secrecy. I don't know what it is that you're surrendering tonight, but anything that you want to release tonight, fire will take it from you and burn it completely clean. So just take a moment tonight to really think about, what is it that is no longer serving you in your life? What are you really ready to let go of? The other thing I'll tell you is you can release people into the fire. I consistently do this. When I know someone is meant to leave my life, even before they've left, I'm doing that this week because I have a few people in my life that I know are ready to go. And I'm ready for them to go. And so what I always say is, I release you from your service to my space. I release you with love. You're no longer tethered here, which gives people an energetic freedom to leave you without fear. Does that make sense? So whenever I feel like people are ready to go, I release you with love and gratitude from my space, from my circle. And that gives them the freedom to go. A lot of times people will, have you noticed when people are nearing the end of life, they will hang on. Sometimes they're hanging on for kids, sometimes they're hanging on for family members. And so when you energetically say, I give you permission to go with love, it's time, they get the message and know that they are free to go, and that you're not resentful. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I think that's one of the most beautiful things that you can do in your life is genuinely, lovingly tell people it's time. And so there's people in my life professionally, there's people in my life personally that I know where we're ready to close that door. And just even tonight, I am saying, I release you with love. I'm so grateful for everything that you've brought to my life in whatever facet those people have been present. I'm so grateful, and I'm ready for you to go, and I release you with love, and I wish you well on your way. And so do that tonight. Do that tonight. It becomes harder when it's family. When people are nearing the end of life, you almost get into a shamanic kind of a doula capacity where you are having to let go of people that you love, that you know are holding on for you. And so that can be very, very difficult. But you have to do it. I know, even happens with animals. My poor Bella was ready to go. This is going to make me cry. A couple of years ago. And I had to release her, and honestly, she was my child. She was my first child. And it was her time to go. And I remember that moment of saying, I release you, sweet one, it's okay. I'll see you on the other side. And even in our communities, sweet Kelly that we've had to grieve, we lost on Friday. That moment of, gosh, I'm so grateful for your life. And I release you with so much compassion, and I'm ready to watch you fly. And I get to learn from watching you fly. My Bella was a dog. She was a white German Shepherd. But to this day, and it's 2 years later, I miss her every day, but I gave her the permission to go. And so I think that's what fire teaches us, is at some point we have to do the holy work of saying, it is time. It is time. And I release you, and I release you with love. And if you really, really release people with love, they feel it and they know it's okay. You're giving permission, do you know? And sometimes that's the hardest, most humane thing you can do. So into the fire tonight, what are you letting go, my sweet friends? I really want to know. What are you letting go? Yeah, Tara, I hear you. Tara says, my family can't take me being disabled, and they ignore everything about it. But there's something about acknowledging that's really powerful. And if your family can't do the holy work of acknowledging for you, then you do the holy work of acknowledging it for yourself. Does that make sense to you? Sometimes your family can't give you. They're not ready. They're not spiritual enough. They're not strong enough yet to give you what you need. And so sometimes you have to claim the things that you need. And that's okay. That's okay. So tonight, with love, with gratitude, with strength, with appreciation, we release into this fire anything that is no longer serving us. That can be denial. It can be our denial, our family's denial. It can be fear. It can be Diana's letting go of a relationship. That's right. Robin's letting go of distrust and fear. Valeria's, I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly, Valeria. It's a beautiful name. Pain. Tanya's letting go of stress and anxiety and OCD and frustration. Woo! And so it goes into the fire. Send it right now. I'm really serious. This is the moment for you. If you're ready, really send it. Send it without any hesitation. And as I play the bowl for a few minutes here, I'm going to go quiet and just play for you. I really want you to step into don't intellectualize this, step into feeling that release. If you really let go of that self-doubt, if you really let go of that anger, Janet's letting go of toxic people, Alyssa's letting go of worry, Kelly's letting go of a health situation. So if you're really letting go, letting go, I'm standing with you, and just surrender all. And so, Great Spirit, we come before you tonight as a collective. And that's okay, Charlene. She says she can't let go yet. It's okay. That's okay. And part of the beauty, I mean, I really see you, do you know? Like in these moments, I'm reading your comments and there's no disconnection, do you know? Like I really see where you are, and it's okay. It's okay that you are in the place you are. If you're ready to release, release. If you're not ready to release, that is beautiful self-awareness. And you shouldn't release until you're ready. And when you are, you'll know you are. That is the most beautiful gift, I think, that our guides give us. Is when we're ready to let go, they help us, and it's okay. Yep, and so we go. That's beautiful. Diana says it's like something died, and that was the church bells ringing for them. Janny, is it Janny or Janie? It's a beautiful name. She says, are we supposed to cry? Yes, I think so. So here's the thing. Do you know how your body releases energy? You ready? This is going to change your life a little bit. It changed my life a little bit when I learned this. Your body releases energy through laughter and through tears. So that's why some people, when they get nervous and uncomfortable, they laugh. And some people, when they get nervous and uncomfortable, they cry. Have you noticed? It's like one or the other. I do both. I have like a nervous laugh, and then I have moments where it's like floodgates are open. And I cry in front of anybody and everybody. I don't have I think it's okay to cry. Do you know? Don't you? I mean, when someone cries in front of you, don't you feel like that they let you in for a minute? Like when I cry, I used to get really, really embarrassed when I would cry. And then I finally realized, I think in my 40s, that when I cried in front of people, it was telling them, hey, I'm human and I'm open to you, and then you can cry with me too. You know what I mean? Like you're not weird then, you know? So I say cry, because your body wants to release the energy. When people tell me they've never cried, I almost always say to them, your homework is to go and cry. And I don't care who you do it with, but it makes you human. I love tears, and not because I like to see people in pain, but because it tells me that people are finally open, that something has cracked. So when I hear crazy laughter or crazy tears, I just know. I know that person has opened to me just a little bit, and it makes me feel like one-to-one human. I see you, yeah? That's beautiful to me. Especially, I will tell you, when a man cries in front of me, it is... it's the most beautiful thing I think I've ever seen, when I see a man cry. And again, not because I want to see a man cry at all. I don't want to see anybody feel pain. But when a man cries in front of me, I completely just bow to him. You know, it's like, because men are always taught in our society not to cry. Aren't they? From the time they're little boys. Like, come on now, get it together, right? So I have taught my son to cry, and to cry to me, and even if it's an ugly cry, Crystal, I like a good ugly cry. But I've always told my son, if you really want to be a real man, you will always cry when you feel the need, and you won't hide that from people. That's what a warrior does. And so the moments when men have cried in front of me are the moments when I feel like I have had the deepest intimacy with them, and I have just held them, because that's what we do. So then the divine feminine comes in and puts our arms around that man and says, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay, right? But a lot of us didn't have our moms say that to us. And so, not to make this gendered in any way, but I do think as little ones, we needed our mom to say, it's okay. Go ahead and cry. It's okay. And if you didn't have that, then now, as we're getting older, we have to mother ourselves a little bit and say, it's okay. That's okay. That's okay. I see you. Okay. So we have surrender tonight into the fire. Anything that isn't serving us, right? Anything that we feel like we can't carry anymore. And I hear you, Melanie. She says my mom never did. You know, my mom didn't really either. And so that's why as a woman now, I feel like part of my job in the world is to create open space for people to really feel their feelings. And it's Maria says, my mom would say, stop feeling sorry for yourself. My saying always is, I think you should feel that for yourself. Feel that sorrow, feel that pity, feel that anger, feel that frustration, because here's what happens. If this is really true, you guys, I know this ended up being an hour long, and I hope that's okay with you, but what happens is if you push those feelings down and you don't give yourself the chance to feel them, they will come out later. And they come out in ways that are unproductive, right? I mean, think about it. If you keep pushing down that anger and pushing down that frustration and pushing down that sadness and pushing, and just like, I just got to keep going. I just got to keep, what happens later? Because it does come up. And then all of a sudden it destroys, it comes out in these ways, or it shows up in your body as pain and disease. Then 10 years later you get diagnosed with cancer and you're like, where did that come from? There's no family history of that or whatever. And it's like, emotions are energy, and they will manifest in your body in a physical form if you don't work with them. That's the one true statement I can make to you tonight. Emotions are energy, and they will show up in your body as disease if you don't learn to be in relationship with them. So whether your mother said, go ahead and cry, or didn't, you better start working with those emotions now, because now you have no excuse. You're a big girl, big boy. So you got to make that space for yourself, and then we teach the next generation. But literally, it was really funny. When my son was a baby, he was in swimming classes, and he was crying because he was scared. And the swim teacher came over to him. True story. He was 2 years old. The swim teacher came over to him and said, get it together, and you don't have to be afraid, and you stop crying. And I literally was like, swim class is over. And you don't tell my son not to cry. He's afraid, and he needs to work through that fear. And if you're a good teacher, you're going to be able to create a container for that to help him understand that fear so that he can face it and move through it. But you tell him to stop crying, and I'm telling you, the swim class is all over. Because I'm sorry, but child psychology tells you that kids learn how to handle their emotions between the ages of 0 and 5. And if they don't have good teachers and they don't have somebody creating space for them to work with those emotions, they're going to end up being dysfunctional teenagers. And that's just the reality of the situation. And so a lot of us, 0 to 5, didn't have a safe place to work with those emotions. And so now they're coming up, and we're having to figure out some functional, Yeah, hey, Leo mom, you don't tell my kid not to cry. You don't tell my kid not to cry. Swim class over, kind of thing. Let's teach some bigger lessons than just how to hold your breath underwater, right? Okay. So thank you for being here tonight. It was really a pleasure to hold space with you. I want to tell you that I have something kind of special for you, because I was thinking, what would be good as a little gift for those of you who are here tonight. And I'm look at how cool that elemental integration candle is. The yellow seeps into the red, seeps into the black. It's kind of cool how you see the 4 directions on there. So extinguishing my candle, giving thanks to the guardians of the gateways who've been here supporting us, releasing them from the circle. So our circle is open. You're so welcome. So welcome. And thank you. Thank you for being here, because I appreciate you. And you have to work with the feelings. And that's why it's really funny. I mean, even in my grief this past week over the loss that I experienced, I was in one of my Facebook groups, and I just fully broke down on camera. And it was an ugly cry. And whatever, because you know what? I was really flippin' sad. Because life is real, and it's not a show. And I was in a group where I felt very vulnerable and comfortable, and it was really beautiful to be able to say, hey, this really fucking sucks. And I'm going to cry right now. And if you have feelings, you should have them too. Okay, so there is, I do have a gift for you. Next time you're on sagegoddess.com. This is a stone called dolomite. And dolomite is for stress relief in the body. So what dolomite does is it goes through and it helps to dislodge pockets of stress in the body. What we do shamanically as shamanic healers is we go in, and through shamanic journey, we try to go back to those places when you were 3 years old and 5 years old and 7 years old, where you were rejected or hurt, because those places end up causing you physical pain later in your life, and we try to go out and sort of pull that out. Dolomite is a stone that we work with shamanically to go into those places and to release pockets of pain. So it's my gift to you, okay? We put dolomite on sale tonight, I think for $4, down from $7, so that you could have it at a really reasonable price. And If you purchase dolomite tonight, you're getting a free piece of starry jasper, which holds the 4 elements plus spirit and is also calming and soothing to the central nervous system. This stone, starry jasper, it should be in your pocket or in your bra, completely calls your energy into present time and helps to balance and soothe and comfort you. And so this one is $4, this one is free, and what I would like for you to do is work with them as a pair. So I put the link on our event page in case you want it. There's not that much. I think there's only about 60 or 70 pieces of dolomite left, and then this is free. I have enough of these to be free for everybody who gets one of these. And in your notes, what you're going to say is star. But it's only good till midnight tonight. So if you want these, you don't have to choose this. But if you want a stone for comfort, this is the dolomite is the one, and then I'm gifting you starry jasper if you say star in your notes. So that's my little offering to you tonight. If you need a little bit of stone medicine for comfort, I think that's a very effective one for you to work with. Yeah, a guided meditation might be really, really beautiful for this. What I'm thinking is I'll do something for you guys and put it on the event page maybe next week just as a gift, because I really would like you to have like sort of a free 5 or 10 minute guided meditation that you could go back to at any time. And so let me think about how to create that for you and how to offer it to you, but I would like to gift that to you. Yeah, so star is in your notes. It's not a coupon code, it's just a note. So there's like a place when you place an order on sagegoddess.com to write notes to us, because our customers write us like big long letters about all the things that are going on with them, which helps us choose items for them. And so in the notes is where you say star, and you'll get a free piece of that. I think the starry jasper was like $7 or $9, and the dolomite was $7. So for $4 tonight, you're getting $16 worth of stones, which is kind of, that's my gift to you tonight. And I hope you enjoy that. Yeah, Ron is asking about the weight loss class. I am going to do a round 3. People are asking for a sacral chakra class because a lot of us have a lot of weight right here because we have trauma, men and women. And so everybody's asking me to do a 3rd class on how to release weight from here, which is actually the most dangerous place for you to hold extra weight, because this is where you end up with a lot of digestive problems, and also even carrying extra weight here can cause heart problems. And so we'll talk about all of that when we gather. Yeah, so I'm gonna record something for you this week, and again, I appreciate that you said you would purchase it, but I'd rather just gift it to you because I really do want you to have something that you can go back and just listen to over and over again once our Cosmic Comfort series is over. And I would also like to know, would you like to carry something like this forward? Do you like getting together every week? Would you like to keep this series going? Is this interesting for you? Or, if you feel like we've kind of run our course, there's always other things we can do. But I've enjoyed this time with you. It's been a really special way for us to get together and to pray. And it's not like the chaos in our world ends tonight or tomorrow night. So maybe we just do a half an hour on Wednesdays, almost like a live prayer circle. I think that might be kind of special too. I'm glad you like the idea. And so maybe we just do kind of a standard, I'll think through that and kind of what that would look like, because I think there should be some kind of meditation with it, but I appreciate that. And I'm grateful that you enjoy the time. I'm here because you are, right? So your presence is very important to me. It's good for the world right now. And there may be a point where, hey, you know what? The world is so peaceful and we're so in tune and aligned and like connected and enjoying that you're like, hey, who needs cosmic comfort? May our universe get there quickly is my request for you. Yeah, so Debbie's asking about the singing bowls. We're actually hoping to be offering these through Sage Goddess by the end of the year. We're actually working with a singing bowl manufacturer who might actually be able to put our logo and different things on it, because I'm addicted to singing bowls. I mean, if you look over there on the floor, like right over there, you can see I've got like 20 of them on the floor. I'm addicted to them. Sound is very important. Oh, thanks, you guys. Well, I appreciate you. I think you're amazing too. And so thank you for joining with me tonight. Thank you for letting me have a whole hour of your time. I usually only do half an hour for this, but there was a lot to talk about tonight. So sagegoddess.com is where the dolomite is. If you go to the event page for tonight's meditation, I put the link there. I'll go back and put the link there again for everybody. If our team is on right now, sometimes they're watching, so they could actually put the link for the dolomite right in our feed, which would be really helpful too. But singing bowls are really special. They really, really are. And they're made of quartz. Did you know that? This is actually made of quartz. If it was glass, it wouldn't do that. It is quartz, which is what enables it to, the sound to just continue and continue and continue and vibrate. But there's a lot of different sound tools that you can use. And so if I ever get around to teaching a sound class, one of the things, if you were here in person, I'd want to show you this. This is actually a quartz tuning fork. And so you play it like this. Can you hear that against the speaker? Can you hear the vibration of that? I'm just curious if you can you hear that? That's a very different tool. And so what you do with a tuning fork is you actually place it on the body and it sends the vibration down into the skin. And so if someone has pain in their arm or pain in their shoulder, this is actually vibrating all the way through my body. Isn't that cool? So these will be coming to the shop too. And what's really cool, this is the striker, but it actually fits right on top, and then you can just place it on your altar. So there's a lot of different sound tools to introduce you to once we get there. It's very cool, isn't it? Okay, good to know about the Holistic Healer Code. The Holistic Healers are people in my, I do a 3-course program, and at the end of the year they get certified as Holistic Healers, and they just got a brand new 15% code to the shop because they have a discount year-round. So we will double check the code for you. Thank you for letting us know. Did it really? You guys could really hear it, huh? That's rad that you can hear that through the microphone. It picks up the most subtle of sounds, which is really, really neat. That's a good question. Susanna says, what candle do you recommend for beginners? The 2 that I'm using right now are actually really good for beginners. This is Elemental Integration, which combines earth, air, fire, and water into one candle. There's 4 different sheets that have the colors of the elements. And this is my prayer candle, which is another really good one for beginners. It has the Julian of Norwich prayer, all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of things shall be well, which is my favorite prayer. And it's a pure white candle, so that would be a good one for you too. And so if you want to join the classes, sagegoddess.com/register is the link for the classes. And so if you're interested in learning about the classes, this is probably my last year teaching live, because I have books coming out in 2018. And so if you're interested, the classes are just like this, where there's a feed and you can ask questions. It's really fun. So if you're interested in that, that's all there. Yeah, so the code will only work on regular priced items. So because this one has been reduced by almost 50%, actually almost 100% off of the price. So the codes only work when you have sale items, just so you know. I know, but I'll do something for you guys next year. I don't know exactly what it's going to be, but this year is really focused on the live teaching and the classes and the meditations, and I'm having a blast doing it with you. All right, cool. So my team was right there. They put the link up for the dolomite, so you've got that. I'm sure they'll put the code is working on their end, they're saying. And so if you are in Holistic Healer, you've got an email in your inbox right now with your new Holistic Healer 15% code. So that should help you. And then the Elemental Integration Candle and the Prayer Candle are both on the website. The only other thing I want to tell you about, there's a perfume in the shop today called Pink Lotus. This is essential oil, Pink Lotus essential oil, which is one of the rarest essential oils I've ever brought to Sage Goddess. And so if you want to smell something heavenly that will transport you, that's something not to miss. And then the other thing I wanted to show you is a perfume I have called Dark Lavender, which is made with lavender absolute, which is even finer than lavender essential oil. And for peace and for sleep and for migraines and for relaxation, there's nothing like it. So if you're looking for tools for relaxation, which is really what I'm promoting to you tonight, is like, what's helpful for relaxation? Dolomite, lavender, pink lotus, starry jasper, Lepidolite is another good one. Hypersthene is really good for balancing brain chemicals, especially if you have PTSD or ADHD. A lot of success with clients who either have post-traumatic stress disorder or any kind of attention deficit disorder. So there's a lot of different stones that work for different things. The best stone for anxiety is dolomite and combined with lepidolite. Those are the two anxiety busters. And I'm telling you that because everyone in my family has anxiety. Literally. I mean, it's almost like when we go out to dinner as a family, it's funny. Because everybody's like, I'm anxious about this, I'm anxious about that, I'm anxious about my food, I'm anxious about my parking spot, I'm anxious about being in public, I'm anxious about talking to people, I'm anxious about... So I know a lot about anxiety just from living with my own family, and using aromatherapy and crystals has been very helpful because, of course, there's lots of hardcore medications you can take and things like that. But I think it's good to use naturopathic treatments when it's possible. Can't always do that. A Paracas reality show. Honest to God, if we had cameras here at Sage Goddess, it probably would make a really good reality show. I have to say, we have a lot of fun and it's a little crazy. And oh, Kimberly, I appreciate that. We're actually looking at book signing locations for next year. So the good news is I'll probably be coming to you next year. Somewhere local near you. There'll be places in the Midwest and the East Coast and the South, so I'm excited about that. All right, cheers. Thank you for being here with me as I drink my cranberry kombucha. I hear you. And, anxiety is a real thing. Anxiety is very, very real. And it's scary. And so I encourage those of you who experience anxiety to work with different tools and find different ways. And what works for one person isn't going to work for another. But the main thing I want to tell you is be gentle with yourself. Especially right now. There's so much going on. We have this eclipse coming up in August. There's a lot of turmoil in our country. There's a lot of turmoil in people's families. There's a lot of anxiety about, healthcare and jobs and everything else. Be really gentle with yourself right now. Take it easy. Take a deep breath, It will be okay, is the one thing I can tell you. And that's because I know that for sure. The one thing I know for sure is it will be okay. But just for now, just be gentle with yourself and be gentle with people around you too. Oh my God, Louise, I love Houston. I was supposed to go to Houston a couple of weeks ago. It's one of my favorite places. And Austin, for God's sake. Houston and Austin, I can guarantee you we will be there. Those are two of my favorite cities in the country. I can guarantee you we'll be in New Orleans because that's my other favorite city in the country. Guarantee you we'll be in New York, we'll be in Florida. And so we're excited. We're sort of fighting our places where we're going to come and go and see you. I'd love to come to Alabama, Christy. So you need to let me know. In Rhode Island too, Dora. So in Philadelphia. So we're going to, once the books are out and we figure out where we're going to go to do book launches and book signings and stuff, then we will promote the whole list of places, and hopefully there'll be something in your region where you can come and give me a hug and let me sign my books for you. Yeah, the city, New York City for sure, San Francisco, Oakland for sure, Michigan for sure, Minnesota for sure. Somewhere close to St. Augustine, Florida for sure. Chicago, I'm sure. Nashville, I'm sure. I know, right? Jesse, I'm sure for Virginia too. We'll probably be in either DC or Virginia, somewhere in that area right there. I love it. Pam, keep me posted. Yeah, and of course. Yeah. No, I mean, all the places that you're mentioning are places that are on our radar. So I'm very excited. Ohio, I have to, Kristen, because actually one of my staff members and dearest friends, Brooklyn, is from Ohio. So we've already talked about where in Ohio I could come to do to talk about the books. So Ohio is a big place on our list. Hopefully you guys in the Midwest are excited about that. Well, Allie, I am here in Los Angeles, so I'm sure there'll be multiple places that will be in LA. We'll probably have a big party here at Sage Goddess too, so hopefully you can make it to see us too. I know, right? When the universe becomes your classroom, it's very exciting. Very, very exciting. All right, you guys, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. You've made my evening, and I hope I've made yours too. I hope tonight I brought you a little bit of comfort to your heart and to your soul. And that is my joy. So thank you for being here with me and being present to this. I'm very excited too. Lots of good things ahead. Oh, Sonia, Sonia says, come to Australia. I spent a month and a half in Australia between Sydney, Brisbane, and Perth. And so Australia is the one country that I've always said I would like to live in if I don't live in the U.S. So I can pretty much guarantee I'll be making my way back down under before too long. Has my heart and soul down there. All right, you guys, I'll see you soon. Have a beautiful night. Take care. And may you be comforted in every way by tonight's meditation. You can always come back to this. It's recorded, so if it's a source of inspiration to you, that has blessed my heart tonight. I'll see you guys soon.